Hello Darklings, today I wanted to show you 3 vampire-themed bookmarks and how to make them. They are perfect for whenever you're reading your favorite vampire novels and you just want to add a touch of spookiness. Materials you'll be needing are pattern scrapbook paper, white paper, black cardstock, red cardstock, scissors, glue and a brush. And this is optional, but I also wanted to get a hole punch and some ribbon. So we're going to be starting off with the classic Coffin bookmark. So I'm actually going to be sketching out a rectangle and then finding the middle and trying to measure out the base that I want for the actual bottom and top so that they match up. And I'm doing a lot of complicated steps in the actual video, but honestly you can just draw a coffin shape if you want to. I just had to get everything straight, even though it never turns out straight. So now that I have my lines drawn, I'm just going to use my straight edge to connect all the outer points to really make that coffin shape. And you should have something like this. Now I'm just going to take my scissors and cut it out. Now I'm just going to take my eraser and I'm just going to erase some of the lines, but very gently. Sometimes if you erase too harshly on cardstock that's colored, the dye will actually come out and it will turn white. Now we're just going to take our pattern paper and I'm just going to position our coffin where I'd like the pattern to align. So I really like the full moon, so I was going to try and center that as much as possible. Now I'm just going back and darkening the lines a little bit because I could barely see my pencil marks. So now what I'm doing is I'm just grabbing my straight edge and I'm just pushing in the lines maybe about a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch just to give a little bit of an edge to where the black will show through beneath the pattern piece. I just think it adds a nice detail to the edge. And now that is done. Now we are actually going to cut it out. And now we have our pattern piece. So I'm just seeing how much of an overlay I want on each edge, just trying to position it a little bit. Now you're going to grab your glue and your brush, and I'm just using an old folder as my surface so that I don't get glue all over my desk or my rotary mat. So I'm just dipping my brush in to get some glue and just brushing it on the back of the pattern piece. And I'm going to flip it over and position it on our bigger black coffin piece. Just holding it down and rubbing it a little bit just to make sure it sticks. Now this part is optional, but I wanted to make it more of a classic bookmark, so I used a hole punch to punch out a hole at the top. And then I grabbed some ribbon of my favorite color, which is purple. If you want, you can use black or red to kind of match the color theme that we already have going on, but I really liked purple, so I used that. So I put the ends through the hole, and then the ends through the loop and pull. And there we go. Now this next step is also optional. I like to have my ribbons look a little bit neater, so I'm using a lighter just to burn the edges so that they don't fray. And there you go. Next is our bleeding page bookmark. So you're going to go grab your red paper and you're going to fold it in half. Now we're going to take our pencil and try and draw a dripping blood pattern. I needed a reference photo for this, so I'm actually looking at a reference as I'm doing this, even though I still do, not that great of a job, but I'm sure some of you are better artists than me, so you may be able to do this freehand without any references, but I need to use a reference. And here I'm almost done, just adding a few details here and there. I just wanted to show you the design real quick so you can kind of see it. And now I'm taking my scissors and I'm going to cut it out. Since I was having a lot of trouble with this, I just started to fast forward it so you guys could see what it looked like actually cut out. So this is the finished product. Now going on to our Folded Fangs corner bookmark. So I'm going to take my white piece of paper and I measured out a 6" by 6" square and I'm just cutting it out here. Next what you're going to do is you're going to fold that in half. Open it up and then fold it in half the other way. So you should have 4 squares. Now we're going to take the corner of one of those squares and fold it towards the center. And then fold it in half. And then we're going to take the other 2 squares and we're going to fold those towards the center. And then you're going to use those halves to kind of fold in the bookmark. So this is how to make a basic corner bookmark. Now we're going to unfold the very last layer and we're going to draw in the fangs. I'm sorry that you couldn't see this because it was so out of focus. I didn't know till later that it had been unfocused the whole time. So now we're going to cut it out, making sure that we're only cutting out the first layer, not the second layer, because the second layer is actually going to fold in and hold the bookmark together. And you should have something that looks like this. Now to make the teeth more visible and have them stand out a little bit more, I'm just going to grab a black ink pen and just draw a very thin outline. Now I'm going to grab the red paper, and I just unfolded it after making the dripping blood one, and it kind of looks like Nosferatu with bat wings. Is that freaky or is that freaky? So I'm just measuring out how long I'm going to make the lips to go on to our Vampire-Fang bookmark. And I'm just sketching in the middle so I know where to start for the Cupid's bow. And you don't have to draw in lips, I just thought it would be a cute detail and it would make the teeth stand out a lot more. Now when you're done cutting out the lips, I use the same black ink pen to outline them so they stand out a little bit more. So now, once again, we're going to grab our glue and our brush. And we're going to paint some glue on the back of the lips. Once the lips are saturated with glue, we're going to position them above the fangs and stick them on. Also, after this, I trimmed off a little bit of the lips in the corner just to make it look a little bit neater. And then you just fold it back together again. Now just wait for the glue to dry, and this is the finished product. I also coated them all with glue just to make them a little more rigid. So happy reading, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!